man sees the world through a bizarre kaleidoscope of illogical wonder.
Radio X.
So that's the sort of thing I do to distract you when I say something unacceptable.
Russell Brand. Ray X.
Yes, this is the Russell Brand podcast. For right reasons, some of the music choices have been cut down to only about 5 seconds long. There ain't no music choices, except there's a bloke in it later on pretending to be Elvis. With me in the podcast is Matt and G. You're right, guys. How's it going?
Yeah, we're good. That was a good show.
Yeah, great show.
Pre-records are always strange, aren't they? What have you got? Hay fever?
Fever's
Same
just
here.
suddenly
Hay fever's
started.
bad.
What, in the last, 2 minutes?
No, I've had it all day.
Russell's released some spores.
Yeah.
Some of my spores were released when we changed clothes.
You're coming from the country with your little spores, and we're allergic to them.
Do you know what the people say, and you'll like this, G, because you're a poet, that nothing rhymes with orange?
Yeah.
Well, it does.
What?
Sporange.
What is sporange?
Thing with spores in.
There you go.
I've just won the podcast.
That's another thing you've won, because last week you won that thing that everything, that man saying all invention and innovation is merely an amplification or evolution of pre-existing technology, like travelling is walking, and you went the nuclear bomb, and then you said you went the nuclear bomb, we've now got the power to destroy the world, and then you said you did a little blow-off and
A little
marched.
slight hand clap went, in your face, Grandad.
Difficult boy to teach.
All the girls from my university.
So this is a podcast. As you know, we slow down a little bit here, we relax a little bit, and some say the quality of the content skyrockets. If you like this podcast, there must be something wrong with you. Now here...
You've sat down like a little newsreader.
That's right. Do you think so? I sit down every week. Have you not noticed?
You stand
No,
up.
you stand up all the time.
tower
Right.
up and
Yeah.
you play with your willy through your trousers.
Looking like Mussolini.
But that'll soon change.
What do you mean? I'll pick a little hole through. in
No,
the
he'll
end.
just start getting even more lax and just come in here and masturbate.
It's only a
throughout
matter
the whole
of time.
show.
I tell you what, the lighting's nice in this seat. I'm glad I've sat here because I can see myself on Facebook Live. Not Facebook Live, the screen that ultimately provides the content for it. Good-looking experts are seen as more interesting but less able. Brains and beauty won't get you ahead, according to a new study. Having both these traits means that people will see you as more interesting. But a new study claims good looks could also make people think you're not as competent as your less attractive colleagues.
I can see that.
What do you mean?
Well, if
you
if
see an
someone's good
expert-
looking, you'd make a certain judgment, I think, because you think you've sailed through life being good looking. You haven't had to try as hard.
Who's an example of a very good-looking expert that we think...
Well, what about a friend of the show, Dr. Christian Jensen?
God, he was gorgeous, wasn't he?
Jessen.
Yeah, what, you think he's so gorgeous he's sailed through life?
Well, actually, I think he, because he's all buff and stuff, I think he probably studied to be a doctor, then got on telly and then went, hang on a minute, you know when you see yourself on telly? Whoa.
That straightens you out. What about Andy Peters? Do you remember he was on telly when we were kids?
Yeah.
Remember
Why
him?
did you shout that in such a peculiar way?
Because because he's so buff now. Have you seen Andy Peters? If you want to, right, Google or use any
Craig
search
David
engine.
Sort of tried to go, right, look, take me seriously, look how buff I am.
I don't know what Andy's motivation was, Matt. All I can say is I saw him in a gym in Los Angeles and he was a hulking, sculpted, beautiful brute.
Well, he's come out of the broom cupboard and now he reckons himself, doesn't he?
He reckons himself well hard, does Peters.
What?
Let's have a look at him.
But he's still got Andy Peters' face.
Well, he's not going to be able to make that muscle his face out of shape, is he? He's stuck with that. He's not Stephen Hawking's exercising that left cheek muscle beyond all question.
They did all right,
doubt.
all the broom cupboard lads.
Let's go
Apart from
for him.
Andy Crane.
Crane.
Where's he gone? Let's get him
Where's
on the show.
Crane?
Schofield's gone,
Schofield
all
did good.
Schofield's good.
Schofield
Peters.
came out as grey.
What was that? Gopher.
Gordon the Gopher. He weren't real, mate.
He didn't do well.
Yeah, Ed the Duck. He was in there.
Hit the duck. Then
Who?
there's Toby Anstis.
Anstis.
He's all right. Steve's on the
antelope.
radio. Presents round the corner, he does. He's got a slight lisp.
I like
Toby
him.
Anstis.
I like him a lot. So, do we trust these good-looking experts or not?
So what,
That's the real
Matt, you prefer
question.
an ugly expert?
Yes, frankly.
But ugly.
Yeah, not to the point
Hideously
where
ugly.
it's distracting.
Fucking hell. These researchers, man. These researchers at Cambridge and Essex universities. They found women are really interested in scientists' looks. That's what they're saying. Lead researcher, Dr. Will Skylark. And who's going to take his research seriously? Oh, I will Skylark. What did you say? You better take this research seriously. I will Skylark. Well, no, honestly, take it seriously. We're relying on these figures. Skylark. Will Skylark goes, given the importance of science issues, it could have a major impact on society, climate change, etc. So we should be taking it really serious. We know from studies, what I have done, that political success can be predicted from facial appearance, that people are influenced by how someone looks.
They are, though. Look at that Macron in France. People love the fact he's good looking.
Is he gorgeous?
And what's his name in Canada? Trudeau, Justin Trudeau.
Is he lovely?
They say that it's more sexist about women when they say, well, man's looks aren't important. Comes
Are
up
they?
quite a lot.
Why don't we?
Quite a lot.
So looks are really influencing us, are they?
Yeah, always.
Yeah, but like in America, right, you can't get on telly if you don't look quite beautiful. Like, so they don't really cast normal looking people.
So the standard of what's normal is being continually elevated.
So then you look at like some clips of like sort of not the main news, actually even CNN and Fox, right?
Everyone's
the women
gorgeous.
look like
Stunning models. And the men look like those sort of silvery, sort of nice granddads.
Yeah, no one just looks like a normal person with normal teeth. So that must, in the end, you just think, well, anyone in authority has to be gorgeous.
Slowly we're being indoctrinated.
I don't think it's a big conspiracy. It's just like things
People respond to symmetry.
Yeah.
We're just responding to symmetry, mathematic dictums in our own mind that we're not even fully aware of, governing us, constantly guided by geometry.
Well, that's what I was saying about they got the picture. Is it Jane Austen's going to be, her picture's going to be on one of the new notes.
Oh, yeah.
And the picture they've got of her is like not an actual representation of how she looked. They've really prettied her up.
Have airbrushed her up?
Something like that, yeah.
Well, that defeats the object. What's the point in honouring and exonerating Jane Austen, and then it's Pamela Anderson on a fiver? Might as well, like, put proper Jane Austen, what she actually looked like. I always think that when I'm watching historical drama, when they're doing a sex scene or whatever, I think all these people have had dirty yellow little gnashers, like Matt Morgan grinning away at Courtney Love.
Yeah.
And they would have all been very smothered in hair and stench, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
So don't think, let's go back to Dick Turpin's times and live it up with some wenches while we're highwaymen with no moral code or awareness of gender equality or the irresponsibility of promiscuity. Because actually, what you'd be doing is fumbling around in a big load of old stink with your yellow gnashers caught up in someone's arm hairs. So if you think that's a way to spend a trip time travelling, think again. Although I'd have loved to have been a highwayman.
But then sometimes, like, after the war, so basically in Second World War, right?
What's it good for?
Actually, the First World War.
What is it good for?
To get troops food, right? They had
Yeah.
to put things in tins, and that's the beginning of, like, food that lasts for ages in tins, and like food being moved around
Go on.
great distances. Before that,
Where are you
people
going
ate
with this?
food that had grown
Where
pretty near
are
to them.
you going?
Where I'm going is talk to a dentist or a hygienist, baby, and they'll tell you that teeth are much harder to clean these days because of processed food, not natural food, and sticky stuff in food. I'm not blaming anyone for that. And like, your teeth are harder to clean. And
I'm
so we've got
always
worse teeth in some ways.
You threw a gauntlet down there, Matt, and it was the talk to the dentist because the face ain't listening gauntlet. And I'm always talking to dentists. And that's why I
That's good,
propose a new society where dentists are shrunk down little. or people that are naturally little are encouraged to be
What
dentists.
is this? So
all
this
their
comes up
lives.
in the podcast that people haven't heard in the radio show.
Yeah.
But you are...
I've got a petite
vehement.
dentist.
Dentists have to be little.
Vehement about
I've
it.
had a bad experience, tell me.
Yeah, with a big dentist.
A big
Yeah.
man with sausage fingers.
them down
Dr.
the
Swan had no business prodding me in the tonsil, stretching the inside of my cheeks out like a hot air balloon. Whereas this lady, Josephine, it's like little mouse's hands.
You've
on
just
the
found a
teeth.
good dentist, that's what it is.
She's a petite dentist, and while I'm laying there and I'm not talking, I've got a lot of time to study exactly what it is I'm enjoying. And what it is a lovely, she's an elegant lady.
Is she pretty?
Well, hold on a minute. She might listen to this. She might have this on in the surgery. She might be poised at an important point in a root
Okay,
canal
if-
surgery.
if-
if-
We're
through
hanging
someone's
on
lip.
the precipice.
If it was a little man, would you like it?
No, because a little man, I don't want his fingers in my
When we
goblet.
say little man, do we like a gnome or...
Not a gnome, that's too stout.
short man.
I want if it was a little man, it would be an elegant and slender man, like a little fairy man.
Sometimes
you know?
if I get a
Elf.
massage, right? A
Your voice
massage, a
changed.
normal one,
Yeah.
it's better to have a man because they're
Much
stronger
better.
and they get into the muscle a bit more. But then sometimes you get a woman who's really good at it and they've got a more instinctive feel for where you need to be massaged.
Oh, yeah.
Not like that.
Not like that.
So sometimes You know.
Matt's new catchphrase. Not like that.
Like
He's
that.
straight in there.
That's what I say in the massage when they go too near my bum cleft.
Hey, look, you
Not like that. Get
Stay
out of
with
it.
You leave that alone.
That's for me.
I'm like Uri Geller trying to bend their hands down with, with my mind. No, I don't have massages. I'll give it up. I'd have, if I was going to have...
Sports massages because my back can...
Now, a massage, that's where you will have the sausage-fingered farmer. That's where I would have a big, burly farmer, rounded shoulder. He don't even need to be able to talk. He could just grunt. Right? And I'd say, hello, farmer. I've had issues with my lower back. But don't forget the thighs. Pummel away as you like. A nimble-fingered dentist and a stout masseuse.
I was in Slovakia once at a spa hotel and they have weird treatments there, right? And one of them, you go in this room and it was like you sign up and I just tick the boxes and it was like water therapy or something. He was a huge man, like an Eastern European sort of big Slovakian man, right? And I had to stand against the wall and he had like a huge hose that was sort of mounted to like the front of a ship, right? It looked like it was been made to look like the front of a boat. And he had like a water sprayer thing and it was so powerful. And then you'd stand and it would go onto your arms and it would go all down and you're naked.
That's like the beginning of a
And if it had
prison
hit you
movie.
in the balls, you would have I mean, it was really powerful. And he was laughing while he was doing it. And honestly.
Old civil rights movie, isn't it?
He was hosing you down.
Hosed me down and it was like, I was just thinking, this has got to be a wind up. I've come in this room.
What was he wearing?
Me? Nothing.
No, him.
Like sort of spa suit, you know, like a sort of white, like
Tunicky,
an
an orderly. Like an
professional.
orderly.
What was the name of the massage? You have some special sort of...
It was called like hydrotherapy or water pressure therapy or something like that. It was in Slovakian with bad English underneath.
It sounds to me like the sort of process that occurs before someone's admitted into a mental hospital. You know, like your hose
Lift my
dropped
head
down.
and tie me to a chair.
Leave powder. Protect
It was
your
weird,
tongue.
honestly. It was weird. And all I was thinking was, if that hits me in the balls, I'm going to die. And so I was going...
Did you cup the balls?
Well, I put my hands in. He was going, no, put your hands out. Like that. He was telling me, you're meant to stand there like in a star shape.
Guantanamo style.
Yeah, it was proper like brutal. But like, it felt nice when you were facing away from him and it was on your back, right? But it was when you faced him, and also your willy goes really small because it's thinking, because it's cold water spray.
Any minute. Hey, I'm out of here. If he passes, you're on your own, son, with this admission to the loony bin process.
Yeah. But yeah.
Crawls back in. I don't blame
I'm going to
it.
Google that and see if that's a real thing.
doesn't
or I
sound
was
like a real treatment.
Cruelly tricked. It's probably a video of it somewhere. People are getting off on it.
Yeah, so there's probably people enjoying your torture. I once went to a place, it was like a spa, and it was...
No, you didn't.
I did, mate. And it was meant to be very sort of hydrotherapeutic, electrotherapeutic, grease lightning. And when I got there, they said, you're having this treatment where it's oil being tipped on your head ever so slowly, on your third eye, which is on the forehead, not where I'd asked for it. And like, they were tipping that oil all over my third eye for ages. And the fellas that was working there, they looked like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest cast members. They were wearing sort of like white tunics and they all had a misty-eyed air about them, like looking off into the middle distance. And they smothered me in corn oil.
They drip it slowly.
All over my third eye, dripping in oil.
Some of these treatments, like hot stones and stuff,
I'll
they've
tell you
been
what I
made
do
up
like.
in the last 10 years.
They're cooking it up out of nowhere. I'll tell you what I like, cupping.
I've heard that.
Oh.
On.
Cuppy.
I like a little cup. I've never had cupping, though.
It's nice. It's a little, like, they put a hot cup on your back. Oh, it gives you such a suck.
It gives you a little red circle.
Now, look, I'm going to run this by you, and you tell me what it indicates to you about my psychological state as a young man.
Okay.
I let the water run out of the plug with a bath, and I sat on the gurgling plug. Clunk, 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 clunk,
Sucked
clunk.
your bum.
It sucked my bum.
Cheek or hole?
Cheek, mate. Cheek. I was a
don't
little
look
kid.
at me like I'm the pervert.
I tell you what, it was the bum cheek, right in the main cheek, not the chimney flue. It was like on the cheek.
Call it.
Oh, Captain
I got a pain in my chimney flue.
Merry Christmas, in you
I
come.
actually heard a horror story about somebody who swam down in a swimming pool and sat on a pool filter that was
Yes.
sucking water out, and it sucked their innards out through their bum.
It hurt for the first 10 minutes, but ultimately became pleasurable. There's a person there at the door. I'll tell you something.
Well, anyway, I don't think that...
Anyway, I was a young
think
man,
bum
and I
cheek's
explained to
fine.
my mother that I'd had a love bite on the bum, and I showed her it. She was very worried about me.
Was she not worried there's a woman going around with a perfectly circular mouth?
Who did this to you? This
A love
gym?
bite.
I claimed it was a love bite, but it was a lie.
No, but did it mark your buttock?
It gave me a love. I got a love bite off
Oh,
the
you always
plug hole.
lying to your mum. You put stiff now
Yeah.
called Sif, all over the toilet and told her you'd spunked up.
I was the minute I was in that bathroom, it cued a pack of lies out of me, didn't it? Getting sacked off on the bum by a plug, jiffing myself senseless.
I've got a little love bite on my bum cheek and I spunked up a load of jiff all over the place. You're going to have to clear that up, love.
But I think you'll find that the toilet will sparkle like new afterwards. Good work, Sif. Well, that's a podcast. Our work is done.
Dear.
Thank you for listening. If you think that was good,
All of that.
5 stars, please. 5 stars. Let's not get discerning now, this late in the day.
It can't be more than a mile to the bull ring. Could we just walk?
Don't be silly, we're getting the bus.
2 tickets to the bull ring, please, mate.
That's $1.50 each, please.
£1.50 each. Jeez.
You heard the man, Tina. It's £1.50. Quick, pay it before he realises. There you go, mate. Thank you, mate. Take the ticket and act casual. New cheaper short-up fare from National Express Bus. Travel about a mile for just £1.50. Now valid at any time. Visit nxbus.co.uk/short-up for details.
Russell Brand.
Radio X.
Hello. Oh, yes. You're listening to the Russell...
Rode that
what?
beat well.
What?
You rode the beat well
I
then.
thought I did, yes. Actually, I mean, it's in my blood somewhere. Hip-hop is sort of an important part of my life, as listeners to this show will know. And by this show, I mean the Russell Brand Show. It's 11 o'clock-ish. It's Sunday morning-ish. Are these systems of categorisation reliable? Is there such a thing as a day of the week when you're on Mercury? Is there a Matt Morgan when you're on Venus? Is the conglomeration of cells that we call G real if you're coming at this from another dimension? Just some of the questions we'll be answering over the next couple of hours in retrospect, because this is a pre-recorded show because we're all at Noel Gallagher's birthday, which is well, you are. I'll have gone home by now, Max, as you know.
It's a 2-dayer.
It's a 2-dayer.
Well,
I
you'd be
assume
staying.
2-day things. No, I'm going straight home. I'll go there for a couple of hours. I'll try my very, very best. I just bought a pair of smart trousers, and so I've bought smart trousers for it.
Have you?
Yeah, made me feel really young buying a pair of smart trousers.
Itchy sort of trousers from
They're
her.
a bit itchy, yeah. Like, you know what consumerism does do? It makes you feel better about yourself.
I know.
Like, you consume an object and, like, it's a temporary little spike. Have you been doing any consumerism, mate?
I buy little things off Amazon, so I shouldn't say
Trinkets. Yeah,
their name. Or
could be.
other massive online stores.
Yeah,
like,
who else is there? Who else?
Is it fine? It's fine.
Yeah, but who else is an online massive
I know,
store?
there isn't one.
They've monopolised
Well, you
it.
can go Argos do same-day deliveries.
Go on, Argos. Go on, lads. You can do it. At the end of this 2-hour, so let's call it a philosophical musing on meaning, G will summarise it using poetry. You feeling all right, G? You on
Feeling
top of
good,
it?
feeling good, yeah. So do you feel smarter with your smart trousers?
Do you, yeah. I mean, I suppose it's a sort of, yeah, I do. Since I've been living this rural country life, I've been wearing clothes such as I'm wearing now. Rags, basically rags. Hindu-looking rags. That's what I wear in the warm weather. That's what I gravitate towards. Left to my own devices, without a guiding force such as fashion, I would wear little singlets.
Oh, that's not unfashionable.
Isn't it? Do I look nice?
But that looks like you've thought about what you're wearing. You've got a little...
Yeah.
What is that?
Skirt, should we call it?
We'll call it a skirt.
Little skirt. Like
Got a little pair of
midriff.
I mean, it must be cool.
You got funky beads.
Yep, that's right.
It's not like you're living in the country like Bear Grylls. They're wearing survival gear.
Yeah, but I'd be able to survive in this
You
gear.
look like you've walked off a catwalk.
Do
me.
I? Well,
Yeah.
I think a lot of that's just pure...
Fallen off a catwalk. There
If
was
you
no
want,
grace.
we
Pushed
can-
off a catwalk.
Do you know, like, this is weird, isn't it? Like,
Mention my physical appearance, please.
I'm always talking about, as you know, the sort of the arbitrary nature of physical grammar and the sort of lack of meaning on the physical plane. But if we were to do a simple thing, Matt, like you and I swap each other's clothes, like I wear what you're... If we just now, I put on them garments you're wearing and you put on mine, I think it would blow my little socks off, because Matt's got a back-to-front baseball cap on, a black T-shirt. He looks sort of like an American teenager, really, don't
That's
you?
what I was going for.
So, yeah, like, I think... like, if we... Shall we swap clothes, is what I'm basically saying.
You know that this medium is purely auditory.
I've never understood how radio works, Matt. I think I've made that clear. If we've learned one thing about me over the next decade, it's that I don't understand how radio works. But
Wow, people just tuning in. If you're thinking this is crazy, I'm wearing his clothes and he's wearing my clothes.
but we could, like, we'd take a little photograph of it and we'd
Tweet
issue
it.
it. We could
Right,
take a
let's tweet
before and we could tweet it. We do it before and after.
Got clean
photo.
pants on.
Quite nice. They're quite nice.
We won't go. We don't need to do our underwear, do we?
No, shall we?
Do the whole hog, man. Yeah.
Go whole
No.
hog.
Do it like
Whole
do
hog.
it, make it like Face Off. Change faces.
No, we can keep our pants on. Don't be silly.
I don't think John Travolta and Nick Cage are different enough to warrant the premise of the film Face Off. Not that I've seen the film Face Off, but I know they swapped faces, did they?
Yeah.
Right.
Watched it years ago.
They're quite similar, aren't they? They're both American movie stars. I know Nicolas Cage, and he's very nice.
You do know him.
Oh, you were in the
When did
film
you
with
last
him, weren't you?
speak to him.
I could speak to him if I wanted to. In fact, he gave me that necklace of Ganesh. See that?
Is he a Buddhist?
No, and this is a Hindu symbol. Is Ganesh.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, disrespectful of my necklace. Show that necklace the respect it deserves. Over the
On,
next...
he's a Hindu.
No, he's not. He just bought it for me because he's like he's
Figured you'd
into
like
all
it.
that, isn't he?
But
New
isn't
age
it
stuff.
Hinduism something to do with Buddhism?
No.
Well, you said that they're the same part, different size, the same coin or something like that. You're always coming out
No,
with.
they're not. They're really not.
Well, like, but Buddhism is like
Who's the little fat bloke laughing?
he's having a lovely time.
Who's that one?
I think that's Russell Grant. Now,
Mr. Stay Puft, man.
hold on a second, because I've got to just tell you what's coming up on the radio show, listeners. We're going to be talking about male grooming as a result of something Matt's done. We're going to be talking about beekeeping as a result of things I've done. We're going to be reading some of your emails and some lovely news stories. Keep things like this is basically, let's consider this to be a light-hearted sorbet to take us away from the difficulties of our time. This is escapism with an undercurrent of love. Right?
Yep.
We're not trying to tackle the world's issues, not for the next couple of hours. This is escapism. Here, I've had an email from Lily Tyson, which is a name I like. Lily Tyson from Lancaster. It's lovely, isn't it? Because Lily, so feminine, delicate and floral. Tyson Fury, Mike Tyson, nice. Hi guys, long time listening. And I'm a member of the Matt Morgan Appreciation Society. I wear it like a badge of honour, pin. I wanted to ask if you have a copy of the Debunked sketch you made years ago. It used to be on YouTube, it's since disappeared. If you do have it, please post it somewhere so I can watch it again and have a good giggle. Cheers, keep up the good work.
I remember
Debunked. I played it was like
yeah.
it was a version of Punked. Actually, Gareth
Gareth
produced
worked
and
on
directed it, as I recall. And I played a version, brilliant acting by me.
Ashton Kutcher.
That's right. I played a version of him. Oh my God, I totally debunked you. And instead of punking people, we debunked them. And you played, I believe, a concert pianist whose hands we chopped off and replaced with pig's hands.
trotter.
One hand with a pig trotter. I think it was actually a very compelling and brilliant sketch. Like many of our sketches were in them days. Like we did a sketch once where do you remember we were friends with Tim Westwood, the big dog, Tim Westwood, for a while. I liked him a lot. And do you remember I went around his house and I dressed up in his clothes and then I did an impression of him a lot of the time and we did a sketch about that as well.
You added a sort of crowman element to the
Which that was your idea.
Randomly go.
That was your idea. We did an impression of Tim Westwood. This is the big dog Westwood, like a standard Tim Westwood impression. But then you said, Matt, I remember you saying this and thinking, I like the way this man's mind works. Go, what if he always is trying to resist turning into a crow at all times, and every so often he can't resist it, and the crow goes, so you're listening to me, the big dog, and this tune goes, like he was overwhelmed.
Like it hurt him not to be a crow.
Yeah, he's constantly fighting against a crow that's trying to realise
Trying to
itself
repress
through
his
him.
crowish nature.
Didn't you two star in something where you were both naked wearing masks at the bottom of some stairs
No, we
crawling
didn't
around?
star in that.
We made that ourselves. And
Made
I
some
wasn't-
mistakes with some friends we met.
Mistakes were made. Me and Matt were naked at the bottom
We
of the
used to do
stairwell.
weird stuff, and then but our agent would give us not a lot of money, but some money.
That
Quid.
pocket money, yeah.
Then we'd
Which is sweet.
put masks on and then be all naked and do weird stuff. Not like that.
It was not sexual.
It
We
was-
would like put on masks
it was
and
art.
play games with children's toys. And I would like
No,
to
that
say
sounds awful.
we were. It does. It sounds bad, doesn't it? But I think we were some of the great underappreciated
We made
geniuses of our
surreal
time.
art pieces, and then we sent them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I saw a few of them, and
And our
they were
agent would say,
interesting.
this is
They were
not
interesting.
useful. You can't use this in
Can't
contemporary
go on
media.
telly,
And it
so-
turns out he was right.
I
We
know,
couldn't.
but we
couldn't.
should put them online.
I'd like to put them online because I think. What about that thing where I was a man called Jack Scratch in pajamas in a bed, and there was a giant teddy bear, and like a terrifying thing happened in the garden, and then everything was just from a book about Denmark, a tourist brochure from Denmark. The whole
we
reality.
should. I mean, this just sounds like madness.
Right.
But if
Okay,
people
this
could
don't-
really see it.
Oh, if they could see this work, it should be on the internet.
We should have gone that way instead of going into whatever we went
We
into.
could have become some of the top artists of our time, instead of which, what did we do? Irritated people for money. Thank you, Lily Tyson, for that. We'll put on a record now, shall we? And then after that, we'll talk to you, Matt Morgan, about grooming. G will be toiling
Male
away on a
grooming,
poem.
that is.
Male grooming. Oh, yeah. I Obviously, when we say
Dressed as an
grooming,
American teenager.
we mean self-care. We don't mean slowly lulling someone into a false air of security. Let's listen to the Arctic Monkeys, who are prepared to gamble that on the dance floor we would look perfectly pleasant.
Radio
X. Russell Brand.
That was the Arctic Monkeys there. That's a song that they done once. This is from Alfie. Hi, Russell, Matt, G, loving the show. It's wonderfully refreshing, arousing and empowering being able to listen to you on a Sunday morning. I was wondering if Mr. Morgan had any advice for a young, aspiring writer. I'm currently finishing my final script for my Masters in television and radio script writing. I need help and inspiration to get me through. Alfie, Matt, do you have any advice?
Because I was Googling the difference between Buddhism and Hinduism to try and claw back
Some
something.
dignity.
Seems there's a big crossover, guys.
Matt, instead of helping young
I'm not going to
Alfie,
go any further, but I wasn't completely wrong.
there's a young man here who wants your advice on his aspirant career.
What? Yes.
Instead of which you're trying to discern the distinctions
I once read an
between
interview.
two ancient
Listen
faiths.
to this. Danny Dyer, right, in TV Quick or something, said, what advice have you got for young aspiring actors? No, honestly, he wasn't joking. He said, don't pretend to be something you're not. Be yourself.
It was Shane Ritchie.
It wasn't.
It was Nick Berry.
It wasn't. Was it?
Danny would never say that, not Danny Dyer.
It was one of those Cockney people. It was Danny Dyer, I'm pretty sure.
No, it was
the
it was
worst
Nick
advice
Berry.
for a young actor.
Just resolutely never pretend to be something that you're not.
Yeah, but then actually that's worked for him.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah, go on, what's this thing?
What should this young aspiring writer called
Aspiring
Alfie
writer.
do?
Right, damn you.
Just sit down and write.
What's
Do you know what
they-
Richard Curtis says? If you want to make things happen, make things. Yeah? It's Richard Curtis. Stop sitting around, Alfie, on your...
And
degree.
what's his name? Bruce Robinson, who wrote with Nell, and I had a thing on his typewriter that said, write it, damn you, what else are you good for? That used to help him. Although it
get through
didn't.
You got to just keep writing and making sense out of the nonsense and something of yourself. Like you've got to lose yourself writing in order to find yourself.
Yeah.
And then something will come out.
I think the hardest thing is to turn off your inner critic that's going, this is rubbish, why are you doing it? Why are you bothering?
Yeah.
No one's going to read this, that's not funny. Because I can't remember who said it. It was a famous quote about the first draft of anything is SHIT, and it's true. You've got to just write something and then hone it. Writing is rewriting.
See, Alfie, there's some valuable advice for you
You've
there.
written books. You're a better person to speak. How do you get through your books?
I don't want Alfie to know none of my techniques. 'Cause I like to keep the book market nice and closed up, sewn up by old Russ. If I can prevent other people learning writing, no, I agree with what you're just saying there. And also, he asked you, like, 'cause there's a lot of people, Matt, look to you as a kind of guru. I mean, like, when I'm on the road doing stand-up comedy gigs, I'm incessantly approached by people from the Matt Morgan Appreciation Society. It's reached a degree of popularity that's concerning.
Mostly to me.
They're really into it. Like they go, and they use it. And like the way they talk about it, it sounds like there's quite good infrastructure. Like, hello there, I'm Dean. I'm from the Matt Morgan Appreciation Society. Listen, I just wanted to talk to you for a few minutes here, mate, for our in-house magazine. And like,
That's like the police.
and then someone else said, like, hi, I'm from. Well, at the last Matt Morgan Appreciation Society gathering, we discussed whether or not we were gonna. Like, I mean, it seems like they really know what they're doing.
And why do they talk to you like sort of just a pest who bothers me? Can we just have a word
I'm
with you?
the conduit to you.
Yeah.
That's silly.
If you are some sort of Jehovah figure up in the ethereal realm, I am Moses coming down with tablets going, yeah, Matt reckons this now. And what I don't tell them is, Matt would rather you just off. I encourage them and tell them that Matt loves them. I go, yeah.
I don't look. I don't mind. I like it. It's
You
great.
like to be appreciated.
But
Why don't you go on Twitter? You should go on Twitter.
no, it's too dangerous. To
Because
do you know what?
I always get
don't
messages.
think. Here, listen to this. I don't think we live in very safe times to say what you think, or even just joke or anything like that. I think it's dangerous. I think, you know, like if you work in the media, could end your career.
I think what it is there is such confusion and latent antagonism that anything that comes above the parapet becomes a convenient target for these sort of somewhat lost feelings of agitation. Like I read something about someone making a sort of a glib comment about Manchester, which was, you know, it's a stupid thing to do, but the amount of rage is not proportional to the glib comment. It's the rage of feelings of loss, confusion, bewilderment and pain.
It's like mob bullying as well. Like, 'cause I think you're talking about
I think
American
bullying's
journalists.
too strong a word. Bullying is implying that they're actively thinking of doing it. I think that it is a case whereby when situations like this occur, that there is a feeling of fear, a feeling of anger, people trying to process their emotions, and because you can't process, the dude that did it's gone, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the police are on lockdown in terms of trying to find out what's going on. So that emotion has to be channeled somewhere else.
I think as well that what you're talking about, Matt, with the nature of celebrity and what a risk it is to sort of talk in public. Katie Hopkins has been given the old Evo, hasn't she? Because she used the words final solution. Now, like final solution as an idiom, like is so correlative with
Loaded, isn't it?
It's poisoned.
Yeah, I can't think of it's interesting to try to imagine other idioms that are similarly loaded.
I think you could possibly use those two words in conjunction.
Absolutely, it's not like because I've it's not like final solution uniformly refers to the Holocaust, but it's just Katie Hopkins, a person that's previously said that thing about cockroaches, uses language like swarm. Like, I think it's sort of increasing. Like, I remember when I first heard that phrase, dog whistle racism or dog whistle sexism, I sort of thought, what does that even mean? But what it means is that people have worked out there's certain things you can't explicitly say, but there are ways that you can signal to people. And now when you look at footage like that's used in that documentary, The 13th, about racism in America, when you look at sort of presidents in the 80s talking about crime, it's clearly they're signalling a racial message. It's good to look at it in the context that it's in, because I would never have realised that, because crime means crime. But if you look at the way crime is coming into our communities, we must stop this crime, over images of white families, you sort of think, oh my God, now I see how that works.
Subtle propaganda.
Yeah. So I understand, Matt, why you're not on Twitter. Also, the other thing is, and the sort of truth of the matter is, that comedians have a kind of obligation to talk at a pitch that is challenging. And I think it's understood and consensual. Like, no, I don't mean that. That's a joke to go into that kind of territory. Yeah. But there is a sort of a censoring, foreboding instrument, a mechanic in place now that prevents you from doing that. Says no, you're not allowed to do that. We decide how you react to that. It's fierce in politics, it's fierce in entertainment in general, and it's how culture aligns itself and maintains itself.
But there's like a there's like a minefield at the moment of offence, right? So there's a picture of you dressed as a circus ringmaster and me as a mermaid, right? And
I love that image.
Send that to you.
That doesn't have no meaning, does it?
I bet you if you put it up, because I'm dressed as a woman essentially. Like, I don't know, someone...
You've got a pipe.
I've got boobs and I've got a tail. Though. I mean...
Yeah, it's difficult to categorise.
But I was thinking, I'll send that to Russell, it's funny. And I thought, no, I don't, because I'm dressed as a woman. Someone will say, that's transphobic. Obviously, it's not. But once someone said it, and then you're in a situation where you're having this dull conversation with someone, and that's why I'm not on Twitter. Cause
we're in a difficult position because we are white males. So
that's a difficult position, is it?
I'm not anymore.
Tough stuff. You'll never know, G, exactly, what white males go through.
The pain that you guys go
Please
through,
be quiet, G. White males suffer in a way that you can only dream of.
So difficult. I think we should get feed the world or something
for white
like that.
Males?
Yeah.
So white males, white professional males, God help the white males. And do you know what's going to help?
White males, I'll say.
Not those old ones. Ugh, filthy. They smell of wee-wee. No. Time now to keep white males in their position of authority and power with a little bunch of guys to drug you into a stupor that I call the adverts.
Russell Brand Radio X.
You're listening to Russell Brand on Radio X. Because we're pre-recorded, it's probably a bit weirder and madder than usual. We're celebrating Noel Gallagher. I think Radio X is celebrating Noel Gallagher.
50 years old.
Wow, 50.
Yeah,
that's half a century of him we've part with, and what have we got out of it? Nothing. A bit of a racket. Now, you're probably thinking, can't we raise the tone of this whole thing? Are we thinking that?
Yes.
Or do we want to drag it into... All right, I'll raise it right up. Here is Alan Watts from a compilation of his works called Becoming What You Are, in a short essay, take me a minute to read, called Lightness of Touch. Chesterton once said that because they take themselves lightly, angels can fly. One sees so many faces dulled by seriousness, which if it were born of grief would be understandable. But the kind of seriousness which drags man down to the earth and kills the life of the spirit is not the child of sorrow, but a sort of play acting in which the player is deceived moved into identifying himself with his part. There is a seriousness in the play of children, but even this is different, for the child is aware that it is only playing and its seriousness is an indirect form of fun. But this seriousness becomes a vice in the adult because he makes a religion of the game, so identifying himself with his part or position in life that he fears to lose it. This is especially so when the unenlightened man attains to any degree of responsibility. He develops a heaviness of touch, a lack of abandon, a stiffness which indicates that he is using his dignity as stilts to keep his head above adversity. Alan Watts there saying that life's an illusion, so have a jolly good time and don't take it too seriously.
Felt longer than a minute.
Yeah, it did. And I was going to actually interrupt
It
you.
probably was only 30 seconds.
It was a maximum of 30 seconds. Now, the tone has been raised right up there, Matt, and it's pertinent in a sense because, well, for a number of reasons. One, because you won't go on Twitter because you don't want to, in case you get sort of censored or get some sort of media backlash. Also, this is a time where we need to incorporate joy and we need to keep that conversation of joy open. And one thing Alan Watts is saying is that I read this brilliant thing in Moby Dick. Have I mentioned that I'm reading Moby Dick? Moby Dick. It's about whales. Big, bloody great big thing. Enormously as white as you like. Oh, I love him down there in the deep lurking about. Ahab's real browned off. I'm obsessed with killing that whale. It's doing my nutting. Well, in Moby Dick, there's this thing where it says the body of a man is like the lees or the dregs in a glass of wine. That there is something greater. There's something greater than us. Something that we're only sort of tangentially or fleetingly able to understand. To glance perhaps in a hallucinogenic or religious experience or in a fleeting moment of love, something that's just out of our reach. He's saying that the totality of our consciousness is more than the limited realm of consciousness that we occupy. That's how sort of Alan Watts can say, don't take life too seriously. Now, obviously, that doesn't apply in the context where you're sort of like, if you're grief-stricken or you're dealing with actual pain, but it's as a sort of a métier for living, to be aware that, God, if it, just on the sort of, I think, on the sort of basic and understandable material plane, if time is limitless and space is limitless, both of these sort of human boundaries with which we understand our existence, then what's the point in taking anything seriously really at all?
But it's interesting because he said children, when you watch children playing, they're serious, right? My daughter's 1 and a bit, and I watched her and she was putting balls through a hole, right? Just picking them up and putting them through there. And they don't do it gleefully, like, woohoo, this is fun. They do it like it's work. Like I think babies look around for little jobs. Like, right. I'll get all these little toys into this pot. And they'll do it quite seriously. It's almost like they're driven to do some sort of work or some, it's not hardship or something, but it's just like a repetitive thing,
yes,
right? And they find it pleasing. So I think,
Do you think sometimes that they're looking to see what impact they can have on the world? Like, I feel like my daughter, she wants to do stuff that has a response. Like, e.g., raking her nails down my face. So she thinks, oh, that's good. Or sort of getting hold of my lip and...
Mine does that.
Yanks it around, she does.
And then when you go, ow, no. They look at you like,
you're the problem.
Ooh. And then they do it again.
Yeah.
They don't think, oh, God, no.
They're just learning cause and effect.
Yeah, but they learn, it hurts him.
They're psychopaths.
Oh.
So I may have gone out and got myself a pair of fancy pants like a dandy Dan to male groom myself into a state of, what do I want to say, sort of self-acceptance or something, using consumerism there as a sort of a little bolster.
When you say fancy pants, you just mean like shiny sort of...
They've got embroidery on them, mate. You'll see them
down the sides,
mate.
You'll see them, throughout. Like, I think they're good. I don't know. Don't you sometimes, when in any shop, even if it's just a regular supermarket, I go into a sort of a hypnotic stupor, so I don't know what decisions I'm making when I'm in there. I can't remember why I'm there, what's going on.
I can't go shopping. Like, my wife can go in 20 minutes and get everything we need. I go in and sort of... like I'm in a dream.
Yeah, I do. You need to have the mentality of a task force. I think you need to go, right, we're going in there, we're getting bread and apples, and then we're getting out of there. Yeah. Like, I sort of go, oh my God, look at that. Sort of picking stuff up, like running pistachio shells through my fingers and that.
I'll just be, it's marshmallow paste. Do we need marshmallow paste? I'll look at it for ages, read what's in it, then walk around.
But they say you should never go shopping when you're hungry.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Or stoned or drunk.
Don't go in there in any altered state. Although one of the things that I miss most about hallucinogens is its great capacity to turn the world into a playground. So if I went into an Asda, other shops are available, like in Wickham, it was unbelievable. It was so enormous. And the thought of doing it on ayahuasca or magic mushrooms, which I wouldn't endorse because they're illegal and drugs are bad, seems like it would be like a palace of limitless wonder. Just to go aisle after aisle.
Having wet yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
Come on, chap.
I'm free. I'm finally free. And I think the same thing goes on with like the clothes shopping. I'll be in there, like sort of, and I sort of think, well, do I like these trousers? Do I look nice? And I suppose you try on trousers in front of a mirror and you imagine yourself in a slightly different context.
What do you do? I've noticed that men do a thing in the mirror when they put something on. They'll do like a little
bob your
boxing
shoulders?
thing, or they'll go, play a little guitar. They'll do a little thing to go,
Yeah, because I suppose trying on clothes is like
a little.
I sort of what I like.
Wiggle.
I do like a few sort of Kenneth Williams. Oh no! Stop it! Put my hands on my hips, do a few Jagger thrusts. Then I imagine that there's some bees in the room. Sort of swat at them for a while, leap behind a couch, and then I hand over the credit card. What about you?
I just bend over and suck a lollipop.
This works for me. Yeah, so I've got them trousers, but I don't know how they're going to cut it in the real world. We'll be able to discuss in the very next episode of this radio show how those trousers went over. And what about Matthew Morgan? You've been tanning yourself to within an inch of your life.
Well, I wish it was as simple as that. I've
Go
been
on.
spray tanning myself.
Why?
So I'm like got a nice base tan, G.
Okay.
Yeah?
I never noticed these things, man.
Oh,
Now, when people say they got base tans
and
and I don't know, I've always got, oh, really? Okay, fine.
Well, look,
Tell me how it works.
well, you go to a lovely lady and you go in a little room in a booth and then she sprays you.
She
So
sprays
she's
you
good.
down like you're a car.
Yeah, but with a bit more care than that.
What you got on?
Nothing.
A little pouch?
A little pair of pants.
Like made out of paper, made out of
No,
a
actually,
shower
my,
hat in a
my
hospital.
real pants.
You wore your own pants. Did you
Yeah.
pull them up your bum crack?
No, I've got a very obvious
White bottom.
Yes,
Why did you do this?
because my wife was having one. She said, "I'm going to get a spray tan," and out of loyalty, I thought, well, do you know
Was
what?
it loyalty, mate?
And vanity, I said, I'll get one too, so it doesn't look weird that you're brown and I'm not.
What? I don't think that's.
I've had
your
one before. I had
worldview.
one for my wedding.
Good. Was that sprayed on like that?
Yeah, it's
How
good.
How do you feel when you're in there being all sprayed and you're just in those pants? And it's a human being doing it. Because I had one, look, I'll be honest with you, it's not as if I'm like sort of living in a hut in the woods. I had one once, but in them days, it was just like a thing. It was a bit more like a Kubrickian futuristic booth.
Like
There
a
was
car
a thing on
wash
the floor
thing.
that went malfunction, like that, just sprayed me up and down and off it went. And it was very anonymous. And I was nude in there, just sort of stood there getting
I
sprayed up.
think that was a
sack.
spray tan, mate.
And then they said, will you sign this form so we could use that footage? What, you were in there with a human female
Yes,
and she sprayed you down for like what looked like
she's
a pen.
like a beautician person, like a spa lady.
Any small talk?
Yeah.
What about?
Well, you know me. I'm stood there awkwardly.
Go
and
on.
also, I've got really bad when she goes, put your left leg forward, your right leg back. I go, oh, hang on, wait.
Oh, okie dokie.
Oh. Yeah, and you do all that, and then you sort of have to, like put your arms at quite funny angles so she can get it all. You have to make your hands into claws, like, wow.
You had to do claw hands.
Yeah,
in
so
there.
that the stuff can land on the right. Why are you looking at me like that, Jim?
Because this is like, I guess, stuff that white people do. It's like the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, it's an
not that
unusual
crazy.
thing you've done there, mate.
It's not
thing.
unusual. Men are out there. Have you seen Towie?
Yeah, seen it. I've
Whoa.
no, I have seen Towie, as a matter of fact, and I
it's-
approve.
look, there's nothing wrong with a man turning himself a little bit more tanned.
I myself, on long winter evenings, have been known to make my way down the winding staircase there in Balmoral with your late father, Majesty. He and I would then take an emery board from between the clefts of our buttock and scour the parlours for a stray animal, and perhaps when that animal was sufficiently aroused, take the emery board and file the tip of the penis down till it's like a stick of Brighton rock chopped off nicely, and so you can see the cells within it.
And I'm the weirdo for having a spray tan. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Suddenly I see some of what I didn't get on with.
Are we swapping clothes?
What's that, mate?
Because I'd rather do it before you get all sorts of dirty sweat and grim
Matt
stuff
and
on.
Radio X listeners, me and Matthew Morgan are going to live each other's lives for a 24-hour period. I'll raise his kids, he'll raise mine. He'll live in my house, I'll live in his. I'll go get fake spray tans, you'll sit around meditating while secretly thinking, oh, what's the point? What's the bloody point? Hyacinth bouquet.
We'll swap clothes for the last hour of the show.
We'll do it in the last hour. What, you don't want me to get too sweaty and clammy? Yeah, but your clothes touch your body a lot more than mine do.
What does that mean?
Oh, I'll
what
be
are yours
getting...
doing? Hovering off you?
Yeah, they are. My aura's holding mine at a sufficient distance.
A little foot up on the...
Exactly. Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
That's
No,
not
it's
going to
weird,
do
mate.
that.
So what? Who cares?
Johnny Vaughan comes here. puts
Here,
his foot
this
down.
ain't the rich, you know. Okay, let's
Stop
have a...
scratching yourself in the trousers that I'm soon to wear.
I thought we were going to have a male grooming expert come on the phone. Can't we find a single male grooming expert?
You're an expert on male grooming. You've had it all done.
Yeah, I have.
Teeth
mate.
whitening. How do you have that done?
Actually, I don't have them whitened. I just scrub them.
Oh, wow. you
I was in the
just go with
dentist. No, these are my normal teeth. I had the fill-in the other day, and I got the lady when it was. I don't. Firstly, it's undignified. All those people with their hands.
It's undignified. You've got your headphones on the wrong way.
So
You're
what?
pushing your ears forward. You're like a weird hippie Prince Charles.
Undignified, is it? Let me have a look at the camera and see if it
Tweet
is undignified.
Tweet a picture of
I'm
that.
Looking.
I bet you won't, 'cause you're so vain.
I will. If you think that's undignified, have a look on Twitter. It'll be. That's not
That is
dignified,
not
that is it? That's a man who would benefit from. I don't know if I can put that up on Twitter because.
Why not?
Ah, see, you're
put
too
it up.
vain.
Vanity.
Put it on Twitter.
I
No
might.
one's going to go,
I don't
oh, look at his
care.
ears. They're being pushed forward by headphones.
Yeah, I don't mind what people think of
Oh,
me.
now they're wrinkled over. Oh, this is depressing.
It looks like a crash hat that I'm wearing to protect myself before I wreck myself, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
no, but look, that one's all. I hate that when someone's got their headphones and their ears bent.
Scrunching,
and they haven't
yeah.
I don't
noticed.
like it when someone
It's like-
wears a cap and like the cap is folding their ears over. I want to go up there with a lolly stick or perhaps an emery board.
That's what yours is doing
and
now.
flick it into shape.
Yeah,
I
look
say,
at
mate,
your ear.
right.
Like a little letter C that's collapsed.
Everyone that's listening, from now on, this is the deal. If we see someone what's wearing a baseball cap and it's folded their ears over in a way what we don't like, we go over there and we flip it back in with a lolly stick. And that is a pledge that we're making to heal Britain. All right? We're going to be talking to a male grooming expert later. His name's Rick Lavender. Rick Lavender will be on the show shortly.
That's a cool name.
Why not? Give it a chance. Man wore Home Depot apron to steal air conditioners, says cops. Police say a man donned an orange Home Depot apron and posed as an employee to steal air conditioners in New Hampshire. The man loaded 2 air conditioners into his pickup truck in Plaistow and went back inside. This crime's taking place all over the shop. But a manager noticed the name of the garment didn't match that of any worker in the store. Also, it appeared to be a woman, as it had the name Shannon on it, and it was a fella wearing it, along with flowers drawn on it. So it's not even the right kind of apron. The manager called the police and later and the accused told the police that he didn't know anything about air conditioners. However, a Home Depot apron was found in his back pocket, released on bail.
How'd you get a whole apron in the back pocket?
Yeah, it would have to be made of very thin
It's
fabric.
just hanging out like a... I don't know anything about that crime.
What's that?
Swoosh.
Well, you've got a big aprony tail, like a sort of an apron leopard swooshing around behind you. What's wrong with you, mush? I mean, in a way, it is ingenious to go into a shop and pretend to work there. It's been done in various contexts. We know Lee Francis has done it. He used to go into Curry's and Dixon's, dress up as someone who worked there, just film himself there all day, which I thought was
And they let him
admirable.
do it once they busted him.
Well, carry
The
on.
bloke, he said, oh, please, can I just work? And I've always wanted to work. And I'm like, no, you can go to the front, but don't talk to anyone.
It's adorable, really.
Lovely, really, isn't it?
And then, what's his name? The more
Kim Noble.
Kim Noble. He'd done that. He used to just sort of dress up in B&Q clothes and then tell people all weird and baffling stuff to unsettle them.
There's a thing in that, you know, the hero's journey or whatever it's called. the
Yeah,
sort of-
Joseph Campbell.
Yeah, called wearing the enemy's skin, and it's part of like myth. You know, like
Ooh,
it's a moment in
stormtroopers in
myth.
Star Wars.
Yes, like Luke Skywalker dressing up as a stormtrooper is a sort of modern, or I say modern, that's 40 years old now,
God.
version of it. 1977, 40
No.
years ago.
Long time
I'm
ago.
40 this year.
No,
1977, all the good things happened.
No, they didn't. It was a terrible year. I
Oh,
remember
yeah,
it very well.
1975.
Oh, good year. Good year. No, is it? Oh, it was one of the greats. 1975.
77, Star Wars,
No.
Eraserhead. Led Zeppelin were touring
75,
America.
40 Towers.
Pistols.
Screw you! 77 was a dark time.
What else?
And let's
Eraserhead, did I say that?
Yes, you did. You keep shouting it and no one cares. And that is why we need an advert to calm ourselves, to soothe our souls. And I personally stand by every single one of these products. Not that one!
This is Radio X.
Russell Brand.
All right, we're back. This is Russell Brand on Radio X. Matt, what are you saying?
But it's not the same thing.
Buddhism is
Buddhism in its Dr.
Russell Brand on Radio
This
X.
is going to be odd. In Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan's work.
Oh gosh, that's awful, isn't it? To hear that mangled about. So Matt wants us to take him seriously on the origins of Buddhism.
Oh, you try and say this person's name. It's very difficult.
chai.
I can say actually, Sarvapalli Radhakrishanan. Oh God,
That's better
in
the
his
second
words,
time.
look, let me be right for once. Buddhism, in its origin at least, is an offshoot of Hinduism.
Yeah, but Islam's in its origin at least as an offshoot of Judaism.
Steady on.
Oh, careful!
Right, so listen to 1990s, 1977. What a dark time it was for everybody. Look at this. Jubilee celebrations held on the 7th of June.
What? This is 77. Yes.
Kelly
see?
Barnes dam falls in the night. Oh, terrible time.
No,
Jumbo jets colliding.
Wait, look at like
Opium
film and
perfume
music.
introduced.
Bowie.
Last execution by guillotine.
Yeah, see the last one.
People
That's
vomiting in the streets in Kent, complaining of a foul smell.
When my mum had me in the hospital, the nurses were all crying. She saw him at the other end of the room, crying and going, "Oh, he's dead." And she thought I'd died, right?
Yeah.
Elvis had died.
Well, then,
When Elvis died?
Yeah.
Why
And
were the
his
nurses-
soul jumped into mine.
you can't rightly claim to be Elvis the Pelvis Morgan.
I'm making that claim now.
That's good. That's good.
How many identities are you going to go through? We've had Matt Morgan Freeman, we've had Matt Moorman, now we're having Matt Presley. Your appreciation. Go on.
I tried to do an Elvis impression, but I might cut
thank you
out,
very much.
so I lost
Thank you.
confidence.
Yeah, does that like
He was good. I never really got it, and then
He's got a great voice.
Yeah.
Elvis's voice is
I watched his version of Bridge Over Troubled Water. Nearly cried.
Suspicious Mind. You seen him do live version of Suspicious Mind
man.
in Las Vegas?
Yeah.
Hectic.
Can we play If I Can Dream?
Yes, of course we can. Now,
Oh, it's on the
here,
X playlist.
to cheer us all up, is Matt Morgan's
Dream.
soul brother, Elvis Presley.
I've had the tan. I might get my hair dyed black.
Why not? Go full on it, because actually
Wear Russell's trousers, right?
Yeah.
That's the full suit.
I heard on the news recently that Elvis Presley is drifting from the consciousness of young people, that he is becoming.
You think?
Yeah.
I read it as a thing. They
I
don't.
suppose he is, isn't he?
Why would they need to know him though?
That's right. They don't know who Elvis is. So
We're going to
possibly
play it.
young people.
And they'll go, this is horrible. What's this?
Stop! I mean, they're not listening to this, are they? They're out there.
No.
They're out there. What's the demographic of this show? The elderly. Where's this primarily listened to? In old folks' homes, half a century old rock stars hobbling about, straining with an ear trumpet.
It's mostly playing
to
in
listen to the
kitchens where
king.
people have gone out for the day and left their radio on.
That's our listenership. Tiles, butcher's block if we're lucky, and some flies rattling round in a
Dog with
corner
its
of a
paws
room.
over its ears.
Oh, Daddy, get me out of here. I want some bone. Throw me a bone, baby. There's Elvis.
Russell Brand
This
is Radio X.
That was Elvis Presley that we just listened to then. That was Elvis, because producer said, we might not be able to play Elvis.
Balked at the idea of playing Elvis.
Censorship. Even Elvis, one of the great role models.
That's
in
why he's
all
not
of
on
his
Twitter.
eras.
It's the beginnings of rock and roll, not necessarily the inventor. You've got Chuck Berry, people like that.
Certainly appropriated it for the white community, and we're still riding on those rhinestone coattails to this day.
He didn't appropriate rock and roll.
What do you
He
mean by that?
appropriated the blues and gospel. But he also appropriated country. So he was nicking it from everywhere.
He's all over. He's a right little magpie, hip-thrusting superstar, wasn't he, Elvis Presley, the king there? Right. Matthew.
Yes.
Darling.
Russell, what?
What do you want to talk about?
Bees.
I knew you don't want to talk about bees.
Well, it's the first thing that came to my mind when we were talking about it earlier. How's your beekeeping?
Actually, my beekeeping's okay, but I want to actually talk to you about dentistry.
Oh yeah, you
while.
started saying about the dentist, saying you don't bleach your teeth or whiten your teeth or anything.
What's going on in my mouth is entirely put there by nature, except I did once.
You've had them bleached though.
No, never.
And you've had Invisalign.
Yep, that's what I have had that. I had them aligned.
Entirely nature, then, is it?
But no, and it's not entirely nature because there was a time where my lower teeth were all clustering together like a little uncouth gang of ewes.
Wasn't one sort of stood behind him going, yeah, go on, guys.
Yeah, you do the munching. I'll be back here if you need me. One of them didn't want to participate, but he had to.
Oh, mine were terrible. Do you remember Courtney Love said, he's cute, but look at his teeth?
Did she say that?
Yeah,
to you?
that's why I got my teeth fixed.
Courtney Love.
But I was very grateful for it in a way.
What did she? So you were just probably did a joyful little smile at Courtney Love.
Smiled at her, and it was as if I'd like pulled my bum cheeks apart.
Oh my God! Oh no! What is that? What's that smell? What's he building in there?
And then I had to go through about a year. Do you remember when I had a brace? Do you remember when I first had my braces on and they were huge? It felt like my jaw was like made of iron. And then we went to a strip club. So it was a few years ago. Spearmint Rhino. I went in the toilets with this huge brace. It was only my lower teeth because they were so bad, right? And then for some reason thought, I mean, because they have them in the toilets, don't they? You know, like a little boiled sweet, right? I thought, I'll have a boiled sweet. And then I'd just left Uline. It was all cool. We're in a strip club.
Where were we? What country
were in
were we in?
Rhino on Tottenham Court Road.
Terrible business.
Yeah, but then I was having fun. And then I went to the toilet, had the aftershave, spoke to the bloke, and I thought, yeah, I'll have a little boiled sweet. I always eat a boiled sweet in the evening when I'm drinking beer. Put it in my mouth, bit into it, my braces went like that.
What do you mean? They all locked up on you?
Bits of wire sticking into my cheeks. I had blood running out of my mouth. And then I had to go back and go, I've got to go home. And all the girls were upset.
What?
we just thought you'd had a great time.
Yeah. I've got to go home. Yeah, like that. And then I had to go outside, and I was like, I've got to get home, and I had to get Swiss Army knife scissors and sort of try and fix them because it was Friday night, and I had to wait till Monday to see the dentist.
Oh, that's awful.
It's horrible. And I
You
went
clamped
home.
your own gob up with gum
I was
drops.
cutting bits of wire off, bending things around because they were like jabbing into everywhere. There's blood everywhere. Why don't you remember this?
I don't know what I was doing in that
Matthew's a
spearmint.
peculiar boy. He's just gone home with a mouthful of blood.
We always anticipated an ending of this nature sooner or later. Now, ladies, like I was at this dentist, and of course, one feels vulnerable when there's people popping their fingers in your gob.
I don't like it when the dentist leaves his finger in your mouth with his rubber glove on.
If ever there's an
And then he
example,
goes and taps on the computer.
when he does something else.
Yeah, he's got his finger in your
He's
mouth.
leaving one of his fingers there, just draped
It's happened to
over
me a
there,
lot with
like a
my
sock
dentist.
hanging out of a drawer.
Just leaving it in there like, I don't know what
What, as
he's
a
trying to do.
placeholder?
Yeah, yeah, maybe. He's like thinking,
I'm still with you.
oh, that's K9 or whatever. They've got names for your teeth.
Yeah, of
I
course
said
they
K9
have.
because you have a K9 tooth. See how my little brain works.
Oh.
But he left his rubber gloved finger in my mouth for too long. And I'm like, excuse me, feeling like vulnerable.
Yeah, it does make you feel vulnerable. Now, I don't agree with any form of creating a super society where people's jobs are allocated at birth, as in Aldous Huxley's Brave New World. But my dentist, she's a tiny lady, and for me, that's the perfect type of dentist you want. She's tiny, she's petite, like Australian lady, and that's the exact sort of person you want jabbing around in your gob. Slender fingers. You don't want a sausage-fingered farmer. As like, imagine a sort of a portly, ruddy-faced fella, like would be good in arm wrestling.
Did the farming community around?
I'm getting on really well with the
Wasn't a
farm.
dentist.
I get on very well with the farmers. They've embraced me to their heart.
But why are you complaining about farmers putting their things in your mouth?
I'm just saying that in a super society where jobs are allocated at birth, right, which would be wrong, let's admit it. Slender.
birth?
At birth, you're bred in this super society. It's Aldous Snow, not Aldous Snow. That's a person I played in a film. It's all
In Brave
Aldous
New World.
Huxley in
Brave New
Brave
World.
New World. Jobs are allocated at birth.
All I
People are
remember
bred.
they took Soma or something. They took a drug.
Keeps you jolly. Well, so the idea of a nimble-fingered little dentist, she's precisely perfect for that job.
You're making her sound so tiny that she stood on your chest the weight of a butterfly, holding a toothbrush like an oar.
Yeah, that's right. She's ever so elegant and delicate, so I don't mind her having a probe about in there. Now, you wouldn't want some sort of like sausage-fingered fella, like a big sort of jolly old Captain
Why not?
Birdseye. Well, I just don't want. You can't even stand your normal dentist leaving a
No,
rubber
that's
gloved
he's
finger.
leaving a finger in me like I'm some catalogue.
I'll be back there. I'm going to pick up one of those. I'm going to get that carriage clock on Monday. But for now, let me just look out the window and see what the point in life is. Yeah, well, I like it, a nimble fingered dentist. And when she's flipped out the
Well,
old.
she's a lady instead of a man. You don't. Well, basically,
And
the
a
same.
particular type of lady, a petite lady.
That sounds even more sexist.
What's wrong with that? Hold on, but a dentist is a top quality job. It's not like I'm saying, like it's a good profession, a dentist. I like having a petite, gentle lady just delicately lowering herself into my trap in dental conditions. Like, so when it got to the bit where they'd excavated the old fillings of yesteryear, because let's face it, the mouth is a cavern of secrets, a real smuggler's cove of filth and smut. And Martin Amis, as I've said before, says we live in the old goblet. That's where you seat your consciousness. Not Matthew Morgan, perhaps. He keeps his consciousness in his spray tan. But like I when it got to the bit where she'd excavated fillings from yesteryear, I goes, I mean, obviously I had to compose myself. I goes, let's have a little look in there. But I said it with like a mouthful of her delicate little ivory fingers.
Oh right, I thought you said scrapings.
And also, I've been all numbed up. Also,
that thing.
the sucking machine. My
Yeah.
girlfriend says she's allowed to operate her own sucking machine when she's
yeah,
in the
I've had that,
dentist.
yeah.
What, you hold it yourself?
Yeah, you just sort of like can put it in and get the stuff. Like that.
I'd misuse that if I ever let me anywhere near it. No,
Tiny. So yes, it would be perfect.
the lady that was handling that was jammering my. She was pulling my lower labia into my lower toothy pegs, and I didn't like the feeling. Lower labia, which means lip, pulled into my toothy pegs.
Right.
I didn't like it. I thought she should have been a bit more delicate. I would have liked to have controlled my own mouth hoover. But like the lady, delicate fingers lady, Dr. Josephine, I think she's called, I communicated to her using sort of mime and grunts.
Yes.
Let me have a look inside the tooth. I saw it,
So
and
she
it
showed you a little mirror, like a hairdresser
Yeah.
showing you the back of your head.
I looked inside, mate, and I saw the full horrors. It was like a Anglo-Saxon ruined fort.
Really?
It's falling apart in there, just all scattered
Were
crap.
these metal fillings, amalgam fillings, or were they those white fillings?
Those them old ones from yesteryear.
Oh,
What,
you
they're
find there's
full of radiation and mercury.
I know, and that's where I get my superpowers from.
Not radiation,
But she's
but
replaced
mercury.
it. She's replaced it with.
You know, when they remove those, they're meant to put a dam to stop stuff going down your throat, because it's mercury, the most poisonous substance known to human beings we have in our mouths.
Thank you, Britain. Thank you, Thatcher. You are filling our little goblets with poison.
It's bad, isn't it?
It is out of order.
Start Googling it, you'll go mad.
You know, like, don't you wince a bit when you have when I was having the injection, I was a bit wincy willow.
Injection. Oh, what, in the gum?
The numb gum.
Yeah.
It's nice to have a numb gum because it reminds you of, sort of, if ever there's a time to talk about having a numb mouth, it's over Noel Gallagher's birthday weekend. It reminded me of happier times, the old gums numbed up all nicely.
What, on drugs?
Dentist drugs.
Oh, right.
Like the dentist, you get a nice numb gob, don't you? And you think, oh,
I don't like that.
takes me back. Why?
Because the mouth feels massive.
Yeah, but just let it go, accept it.
I told you once I had that numb mouth thing, and I had all bits of like stuff in my mouth, like little crumbs of tooth or whatever it was. And I was walking down the pavement, I thought I've got to spit. And there was this woman walking towards me. I was like, I've got to spit, and I just went, and because I didn't know I didn't have any sensation in my mouth. I thought I'd done a normal spit onto the floor. She must have been watching me walking towards her, and it just suddenly went and spat all over my face.
You drooled at her.
Well, not even drool, it was forceful. I went,
You still fanny farted out of your face.
Yeah.
Hello, Tony.
how's the bus coming?
I can tell you more where that came from, sweetheart. I'll tell you what. If you're looking, look me up. Don't forget this face. If you want my number.
But your mouth feels about 10 times bigger, doesn't it? Everything feels all massive and numb.
Yeah.
How can you enjoy that?
Because I like letting go of it. Who wants to be... I mean, it's just nice to be numbed out just for a few moments, and that's what we offer on Radio X. 2 hours of numbness. Let's listen to some adverts, see if that puts things in too much perspective.
It can't be more than a mile to the bull ring. Could we just walk?
Don't be silly, we're getting the bus.
2 tickets to the bull ring, please, mate.
That's £1.50 each, please.
£1.50 each. Jeez.
You heard the man, Tina. It's £1.50. Quick, pay it before he realises. There you go, mate. Thank you, mate. Take the ticket and act casual. New cheaper short top fare from National Express Bus. Travel about a mile for just £1.50. Now valid at any time. Visit nxbus.co.uk/short top for details.
Russell Brand.
Radio X.
You're listening to Russell Brand on Radio X. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening. This is a pre-recorded show because we are celebrating half a century of Noel Gallagher. Oh, yeah, the hat.
The baseball cap.
Yeah,
That's
backwards.
cool. Backwards baseball hat.
Yeah.
That's actually lifted it a bit.
What do you mean lifted it a bit?
Well, it's given you a sort of like you could possibly be a drug dealer, not just a music teacher.
Can I offer you some drugs at all? I mean, like, no, I shouldn't have done this. I shouldn't have agreed to it. I've lost out because I think you look nice. But that's possibly my own narcissism. All right, so look, one of the great concerns of people of the earth... There's no way of making this hat look cool, I'll tell you that. Like, one of the great concerns that people have is that Elvis Presley is slipping from the public consciousness, meaning that Elvis impersonators everywhere. No, this isn't my normal clothes. People are at the window, and they're going to think this is my normal clothes.
Dare you? Those are my normal clothes.
I'm dressed up. I'm in costume. This is not the real me.
Costume.
I'd rather be dressed as Huckleberry Finn. I'd rather be dressed as
this
Fred
is
West.
interesting because I think it actually... You always talk about, the self and blah, 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 the universe and all not real.
The universe, nothing's real.
Right? You've got so much, like, you desperately can't look like everyone else, right? I'm not saying that's a bad thing. But now, at the moment, because you're blending, it's like you're being sucked down a plug hole of normality, isn't it? Look at you.
I'm sucked down a plug. This is like my inner essence is all attached to just...
What you're doing,
I have the opposite feeling. Like, if I had to go home like this... I think I'd have to phone my wife and go, talk to me on the phone because I'm very self-conscious. Dressed as Russell. Well, no one would, if I was walking, no one would go, you're dressed as Russell Brand. They wouldn't. They'd just think,
there's a guy.
Look at this guy.
I think they think you're Australian.
Yeah.
Let's say you're an Australian. That's what they think. Look, we can't leave Elvis hanging on the line for this amount of time. It's out of order. But you're quite right, Matthew. For someone who says that, well, perhaps no, but in a way that is case in point. I am always talking about connection to materialism and attachment to material, the same way as I don't take drugs anymore. Not because I'm better, but because I'm worse. Because I would be more vain, more narcissistic, more attached to material things, more greedy, more self.
But you need to let go of the material. You're attached to those little scum bits in the wine glass, right? You should let go of the little scum buckets in the wine glass and become the pure grapes.
Of course. They say only really sick people become Trappist monks. Only really sick people look for enlightenment. If you didn't feel it strongly, you just think,
what?
I'm all right.
It seems much more mad when you start going on your rants, right?
Does it?
Wearing those clothes. Because when you're wearing the robes, you just think, he's probably really spiritual. I'll sort of go with it. When you're dressed like an ordinary Joe, you think, there's someone looking for you.
There's someone somewhere with a scanner looking for you, mate. Come on, let's talk to Elvis.
Come on, talk to Elvis.
Sorry about that, James. We got caught up because two men in middle age have swapped tops and it's baffled them beyond belief. Are you all right there, mate? Thanks for coming on the line.
That's all right. No, I'm fine. Thank you very much.
Hold on a minute. You can't be an Elvis tribute act. You sound like you sound like a painter and decorator. You sound like you're talking to us from a van. Are you?
Because I'm actually talking to you from my spare room, getting ready for a gig tonight.
Spare room.
I'm just putting the lyrics together and stuff like that. But no,
what are you up to tonight, mate?
I've got a 30th birthday party.
30th birthday? That's relatively young for someone to be interested in Elvis.
Well, no, you see, you say that, but I've just come back from a Elvis competition that was held up in Wakefield, and there were 4 Elvis tribute acts there, all under 13. Another one of 4.
Little tiny Elvises?
Yeah, little mini Elvises, and there's a fella who was 14 who does the sort of 50s Elvis, and the bloke who won, the new King of Britain, was 22.
He can't use that to have any jurisdiction over law or parliament, though, can he? The new 22-year-old Elvis. And what can I ask you as well, James? What era of Elvis is the defining? Because part of the reason we want to talk to you, one is because we've just Elvis has just come up, but another reason is because they say Elvis is slipping from the public consciousness. Elvis is becoming like a literal ghost, because Elvis is a person that's defied death in many ways. But one of the things I'd like to know is, what is the defining image of Elvis? Is it young Sun Records Elvis? Is it golden sparkly jacket Elvis? Is it 68 comeback special Elvis? Or is it Vegas Elvis? What is the Elvis that abides?
I think the Vegas Elvis is the one that's probably the most parodied, shall we say.
But that's interesting because Elvis had become a kind of a self-parody by that stage. Elvis had don't you think? I mean, that was...
Well, it depends what period you're talking about. I mean, maybe from sort of 76 onwards, but if you look at 69 through to about 74, you know, there was still that massive force, and that it really is kind of the period that I favour.
You like that? Why do you like that Elvis best, mate?
I don't know. I love the songs. I love the style. I love the clothes. Talking about you lot swapping clothes and stuff, there are actually people out there who will dress in Elvis leisure wear. So
Elvis, what did Elvis wear at repose? Relaxed Elvis.
He would wear puffy. I'm talking about in the sort of late 60s through the 70s. Puffy sleeve shirts.
At home.
With Napoleonic collars.
Right, I'm just going to relax and unwind, watch a little bit of television, get my puffy shirt and a little bit of paisley, baby.
Usually in paisley.
Crotch is moist, man.
We wore tracksuits.
Yeah.
There was a few tracksuits being worn, usually Drug Enforcement Agency tracksuits.
What do you mean?
So, he got a tracksuit from the Drug Enforcement Agency.
Hey, give me one of those tracksuits from the Drug Enforcement Agency, baby. I want to wear that at home.
Do you think I'm doing quite a good Elvis impression there, James?
That's actually
Please
pretty good.
Me, yes.
You know, I don't use Elvis's accent when I go on stage.
What do you do then?
All right, mate, I'm here to do Elvis Presley, the pop star.
You might know him.
I don't go quite as North London as that, but I sort of put in a slight accent, but I don't do the whole "hello, baby, thank you very much," because I think that's a bit sort of stereotypical, and I just
but you're being Elvis. You can't go, no, I won't have Elvis stereotypes. Not in these contentious times. Elvis can be as diverse as he wants to be. He's bloody Elvis. He's got to be the Elvis that he actually is, isn't he?
Well, I try and get across the spirit of Elvis rather than this kind of cash-on delivery.
You're like an Elvis connoisseur. Elvis's essence, the essential Elvis. Go on, then.
I prefer that. Although I won't go as far as dressing up in Elvis leisure wear.
Hold on, mate. You won't dress as Elvis. Won't do his voice. What kind of Elvis impersonator are you? You're like a conceptual artist who just... What do? Shout the word Elvis in a seashell, then throw it through a window and go home. And now, Elvis Presley. Caw, caw, caw. We remember you, people of Dunkirk. Good night.
It's like when people ring me up for a booking, they say, "Hello, is that Elvis?"
Yeah,
and
that's what we wanted to do.
I have to say, well, it's not Elvis. My name's James. You know, I can't pretend to be the man. I mean,
you can't pretend to be Elvis. You're an Elvis impersonator.
But they're probably
when I'm on stage for an hour or 45 minutes or however long it is, then yes, I sort of imbue the essence of Elvis over to my audience or whatever it's called. But yeah, I don't sort of.
I like your approach to Elvis.
I don't. If someone phones up and goes, "Is that Elvis?"
All right, mate.
He's dead, you idiot!
Let him go! Let Elvis rest. We've got Matt Morgan now. Elvis's soul distilled into a boy from Kent in 1977. Mate, will you do a bit of, in honour of Noel Gallagher, who's been here for half of what we can only call a century, you could sing, would you do a bit of an Oasis song in an Elvis voice? Or is that too Elvis-y for you?
Is that too Elvis-y for an Elvis tribute artist? Yeah, I suppose I can do that. What song do I sing?
Wonderwall? I mean, so it's got to be something everyone knows the lyrics to. It's got to be easy.
Slowly walking down the hall, faster than a cannonball.
What's that called again? Don't Look Back in Anger.
No.
Don't Look Back in Anger.
Supernova.
Well,
Champagne Supernova.
I'm googling as we speak the lyrics to Wonderwall. Can you believe that?
Okay, yeah.
You're using the internet.
I've got them up in front of me right now.
You're good radio, you, aren't you? You're very professional.
Absolutely, mate. I mean, you've got.
Right, I'm googling it. I've got it up.
Right, here we go. You ready?
Yeah.
Today is gonna be the day that they're gonna throw it back to you.
Ooh.
By now you should have somehow realized what you gotta do. Oh, I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. Take it on, baby.
Oh my God, I love it! He lives again! Elvis Presley has risen from the dead, and he's taken Noel Gallagher and Liam Gallagher's jobs in one single refrain. Oh, that was really good.
Fantastic.
That was nice, mate. What I also liked is you do capture, as you say, the essence of Elvis. I felt
thank you.
The sexiness.
That's what I try and do. I try and combine his and my personalities on stage, so you get the best of both.
I've never spoken to an Elvis tribute act who's got such an understanding of the art form.
Thank you very much.
You're so
I also offer painting and decorating.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You don't even say thank you very much in an Elvis voice. Thank you very much, mate.
Thank you a lot.
Thanks for that, pal. Even when it's golden.
Cheers, son. That's blinding. Thanks ever so much. And
there he is. Elvis Presley.
I hand out painting and decorating quotes as well. So
as Elvis Presley used to say, "Go on, son, gotcha." What do you think about Elvis Presley, wanting to snitch people out to Nixon and that? He offered himself up as a sort of a countercultural spy.
I'm a pop star, baby. I can reach in that world. I'll spy on those Beatles for you, baby.
He did say something like that.
I don't know. It's funny, isn't it? I mean, I don't know what was going through Elvis's brain.
Drugs, wasn't it?
70s.
Pharmaceutical drugs. Loads of drugs.
Mainly it. Yeah, I'm glad you said pharmaceuticals and not street drugs, because
I know, but what's the worst thing? Like, why is it better to buy your drugs out of a chemist than off of some entrepreneurial young man under a bridge, a real go-getter?
I don't know. I suppose he thought that street drugs, recreational drugs like heroin and cocaine and stuff like that, were bad, whereas because he was getting them from a doctor, he probably felt they were more justified. I have no idea.
Where did Elvis get this snobbery? He was born in a bloody hut, wasn't he? By a river.
He was born in a shotgun shack somewhere, yeah.
Go on, Elvis.
Mississippi.
You could do it, son. Let's get behind this Elvis Presley guy, I say. Bring him back as a hologram, voiced and peopled by you. One of the great Elvis.
I'd love to do that, mate. I'd love to do that. Like some sort of Orwellian 1984 Big Brother type.
That's exactly what we want. A dystopian Elvis distraction where Elvis trots back out into the spectacle again, hypnotises the world's population and distracts us from what's real and important. And on that note, what makes radio run? It's adverts.
Radio
X. Russell Brand.
That was some adverts. You're listening to me, Russell Brand, on Radio X with Matt Morgan, dressed up as a version of me, just looks like an Australian person who's perhaps done some military service and has become disenchanted with the system now.
The backstory.
Conspiracy theorist, like Australian, called like some sort of nicknamey name, Taz, Daz, Riz Raz, one of those sort of one-syllable names with a Z or an X in it. That's what he looks like. Mr. G's there, beaving away at poetry.
Sexy.
You're sexy Australian. And James Burrell is here, who's the world's, I would say, most refined Elvis impersonator, talking about Elvis as a cultural phenomenon.
He won't wear sunglasses on stage because Elvis never did.
Great.
Yeah, that's a direct quote from my website, yeah.
He will not wear sunglasses because Elvis never did.
On stage.
Have you ever had sex as Elvis?
Ooh.
You have, haven't you? I could tell from the you.
Oh, would have been a direct
no. Flat no.
Yeah,
Why would you ask me that?
I'm outraged. How dare you?
I've done it without the jumpsuit, but I have kept the cape on.
That's good. That's how to do it. You can't have sex with a jumpsuit on.
There you go,
well, the only problem is with that is that they're studded, you see, and they get very spiky, and so they can cut you in places that you wouldn't imagine.
I'm imagining them,
James. If you're on top of
somebody,
you're
a bit of a brutal lover there, James.
Well, yes, I am, especially when I'm covered in rhinestones.
That's the way to do it.
Do you do the kung fu moves?
Do you know what? I wish I could, but my what do they call hamstrings? Just aren't that
hamstrings? Hamstrings aren't involved in the karate chop.
Oh,
I'd like to do a little bit of karate, baby.
No, you used to do leg kicks, like little high kicks and stuff.
That's one. Have you ever worn a judo suit and been karate Elvis?
No, I did ninjutsu when I was 16, and I try and incorporate a little bit of that into my act, but the audience don't like the throwing stars that I throw out.
Cowards! They need to commit to Elvis, is what I will say. James, thank you very much for coming on the line and giving us such an elegant and nuanced view of Elvis tribute acts, and may dead Elvis live on. Dead Elvis
thank you very much.
Will live forever. Thanks, James.
Cheers,
Take it easy, mate.
Cheers, James.
Cheers, Russell.
Lovely bloke. What a lovely fella he was.
I bet because it's 40 years since he died.
Me up
show
something rotten there, didn't you? In front of pretend.
You showed yourself up, as you always do.
How? What did I do wrong?
Sexualising everything. Have you ever had sex as Elvis?
Yeah.
Disgusting and dirty little question.
But do you remember that documentary where, what's it? I think Elvis came out of a hotel and he said he just met a prostitute and he just goes to his friend, that prostitute showed me. She gave tremendous head.
Yes, I do remember that. I remember thinking it was insensitive of Elvis to have said it. Now, I'm touching, while doing the interview, as I like to, as you know, Matthew, I like to touch my genitals. Now, doing that while wearing your garments means I'm reaching through a sodden, sort of like a
sodden you better not have
weave.
Soiled that.
I think defecating in this outfit could only improve it.
Oh
no, I'm only joking. It's nice.
So then I'd have to go home dressed as an idiot, carrying pooey clothes.
Hey, listen, I think what we've learned, and basically is nothing, but if we were going to say that we would learn something for some reason, to provide a shape to the show, we would say that the essential self can correlate to the more basic material objects. I mean, actually, I'm starting to find you quite intimidating, dressed like me.
Yeah, I do look a bit more...
You look like you could have a fight.
Oh, I can.
What, in this character?
Oh, not as this character, because I might see myself in a shop window while the fight's going on and think, oh, God.
Whereas I look like, I'll tell you what I look like, as a delivery man, innit? Like someone who's making ends meet with deliveries. Like, yeah, mate, I need you to sign for that. Can't you just take it without signing? Sorry, mate, no, you've got to sign for it. Oh, no, I don't want to sign.
Isn't there that sort of, don't you ever feel like being anonymous?
Never. It's never happened.
Because I was quite interested in you buying one of those super realistic latex masks.
You're always trying to get me to buy super realistic latex
Then you could walk around
mask.
and go anywhere without the herd of people going, Russell, Russell, Russell.
I do that. I do it. Just go to France. No one gives a monkeys. It's nice. I can just walk around without putting on these cargo pants.
They're not cargo, but they're Dickies shorts.
Oh, Dickie.
I've got to give them back to Dickie very soon.
Dickie, you have betrayed us. Dickie, we hardly knew you. Dickie, you had so much to offer and we sexualised you again. My little botty. All right, well, that's I'd call that a wonderful interview that we done with James Burrell there.
It was good, actually, and it was insightful, and I'm very interested to see a 14-year-old Elvis.
So am I. What an odd concept.
I'd like it if one of the 14-year-olds did Fat Nearly Dead Elvis, because it would be a bold choice, but also it would be funny, wouldn't it?
Yeah, like a little 14-year-old with so much to live for, wheezing and coughing, big handful of tablets.
Sat on a toilet.
Just saying, I've had enough of this. Hey, President Nixon, you want me to help you bring these beatniks in a line?
When I hear things like that, don't you think that their parents are really big, like someone's pushed them into that? Because they haven't come home from school and gone, up yours, parents. I found this guy called Elvis Presley.
You don't understand me, but Elvis does. Do you know this house is like Heartbreak Bloody Hotel?
Mannequin in Vegas hotel room causes shock and injury. A tourist from South Africa is suing. These are just words that I'm inventing. A tourist from Southern. No, hold on a minute. Who is this guy? He's a mystery man. Southern California is suing a Las Vegas strip hotel. A strip hotel. Oh, no, sorry, it's on the strip. I was about to judge that place. A strip hotel, and where is this palace of sin?
So I can place up.
Right, let's go there and have it bloody closed down.
That'd be awful, a strip hotel.
Dirty strip hotel.
Can I come in and clean your room?
Yes, you better. It's very messy. I don't think it's going to get you more of it.
So expensive, isn't it?
Yeah, you can't afford a strip
here
hotel.
And there.
Yeah, no. It'd be bad for you spiritually as well, if I may say so, as a man wearing a simple black t-shirt.
Nice times in strip clubs, and sometimes, if you get talking to the strippers, they like it.
What's the point?
They like it. They make loads of money.
Well, listen, mate, you won't find anyone
I'm not
more...
saying all of them do, but you can't just damn them all to misery.
Mate, you're making a very interesting... Well, I'm going to make an interesting point about self here. And here it comes. Because who is it inside your head that's deciding what you like and don't like? And according to what influences, who is it that's put you in this position? I mean, all you need to do is put me in a black T-shirt and an entire identity begins to unravel.
Well, so if a woman goes, I like this job, I'll make loads of money and I'm going to do it for a couple of years and then stop. You go, you don't know who you are. You're talking rubbish.
Not particularly and especially and singularly in that context, but I think we all have to question what are the components of the self, particularly as the self, it seems, is primarily a reaction to biochemical influences in reaction to culture. So, why would you ever find yourself in any really, what is free will? What is the self? The whole thing is a bloody construct. And if you doubt that, have a little look at me and Dickies, and any doubts you have will melt away. Kent Jacobs Bootwell claimed that he found a life-sized mannequin in his darker room that was the size of life. It must have been enormous. It encompassed the Amazon jungle, the ocean. It was the concept of life. It can't be as big as life. Life's enormous, but also so small. This life-sized mannequin in his darkened room caused him to flee and suffer injuries. So he just saw a silhouette and bolted. And his name is Bootwell. He filed a lawsuit against Planet Hollywood Casinos.
Well, there's the thing, isn't it?
What, he wants damages?
Saw it and thought, is that a person? Oh, it's a mannequin. Oh, hello. That's a bit weird. I'm going to run into that wall and try and get rich.
Oh, we're always, actually, a lot of the stories we focus on, which are selected by Gareth, I imagine, are they, Gal? They are often idiots encountering phenomena. Like, what about that man who thought a Yeti duffed him up? Yeah.
It's a cry for help.
He is, isn't it? I found myself in a radio studio with two men dressed in each other's outfits. For God's sake, won't somebody love me? Also, Gareth is available on the sex market.
He's single.
And is he?
Handsome.
I mean,
charming.
He doesn't look happy now, though, does an old David?
Well, he's been polite, isn't he?
Oh.
He's suffering this.
He's gorgeous. This man, anyway, that may, as far as we can tell, is a simulacrum of Gareth himself. Says that there are 2,500 hotel rooms. Oh, hold on a sec. There's mannequins in all of their rooms. Is there?
No, it says they have. It's like rock memorabilia. So it's probably a mannequin dressed up as like
Elvis, perhaps.
Elvis, even.
Which could be anything now.
How can he be shocked and surprised by it? Because if he's come into his darkened hotel room at night, right? So he's obviously been in there already.
Right, has he?
Miss it
unless he's arriving. He's had a
been
night
installed after he's gone in, put his bag in, and gone out.
Bootwell, I don't trust you. He was shocked and surprised by a human figure when he entered his darkened hotel room. It turned out the human figure was a mannequin wearing Miller Lite racing suit. Well, that's not good, is it? At least it could have at least been Marilyn Monroe or someone.
Yeah.
Someone that we'd get be somewhat titillating.
They were locked in a glass cabinet.
Hold on a minute.
He suffered undefined. What would define them? The lawsuit claims he suffered undefined injuries to his body.
I can't define these
limbs,
injuries. Who
organs.
can?
Listen to this. His body, limbs, organs, mind, and nervous systems.
Oh, my systems! My systems
But I
have
can't
been ruined.
define what's happened to them.
I can't say. Language is too blunt a tool to define these injuries that I've done to my systems.
The lawsuit claims a life-sized human figure in a darkened room is dangerous and hazardous, and Planet Hollywood should warn its customers about the mannequins.
Yeah, well, in a way, this man has taken the
Living
joy.
on the edge, if he comes into a darkened hotel room, sees a man a figure in a glass box and runs so hard into a wall he suffers damage to his organs, mind and nervous system.
I'm going to Vegas, baby. I'm going to live it up. Oh, there's a silhouette. Shut down systems. All systems shutting down. What just happened to you? I can't define that.
I could never define it, but I'd like £2 million.
I've drawn a picture here of what I think it is. It's a collaboration with Jackson Pollock. This squiggle here is my nervous system being ruined. Now give me my money.
It's all for money. It's always for money.
And on that note, here comes a little man called Bradley Advert with a message that he's invented just for you.
Russell Brand.
Radio.
X.
That was Muse. Dig down with Muse. Dig down with Muse, dig down. Shall we, Matthew?
Swap back.
Should we put our normal clothes on now? Have you adjusted
I
to
wouldn't
it?
describe yours as normal. I'm still intrigued about this bum bag, which you went all weird about.
I got that on holiday in France.
Yeah, but why? You look shifty. Like
I'm not shifty.
It's completely.
What, mate?
What? It's a weird little slip of a bum bag, like a little G-string with two tiny little zipped areas.
My bum bag. It's my mate. All right, mate. How's it going?
What?
Oh, no, see, he doesn't even recognise me in these normal clothes. My mate was doing...
He looked at me and he thought, I'd love to be friends with that guy.
He's recognised me. Of course he wants to be friends with you. You're dressed like a go-getter. You're like a man on the edge, the periphery of society.
I bet you, this silly outfit could get me into places that I could normally not get into wearing my own clothes.
I bet it does, mate. Like, look at the way that the fella looks clean.
Just look to me like, hey, that guy must be famous. Happened to
Why
Russell.
else would he be
must have had a
dressing
big tax
like he's on a
bill.
beach in the middle of a town? Come on, mate. Let's change back to our
Just
normal
tell me
selves.
Wait till the end of the show.
Before we
come on,
switch
let's
back,
do it.
just wait. What is this little bum bag
Bring
for?
it back.
What do you put in it? Dog treats or something?
That's
an honest question.
I'm not like that sort of a person. I'm
You've
not a
got to
dog
smell
treats
it.
person.
You went so shifty when I
Look,
highlighted
give us
it.
me bum bag.
Is that your wallet? Because you haven't got pockets in your little Maharishi pants.
Me now, bum bag. No one will ever hurt us again. Will they make any inquiries about my usage? No, they won't. No one will ever know
What
the
is
truth
it?
of what
It's for
goes in it.
joggers.
I wear that when I'm out and about and doing my rounds. When I'm doing my bits and bobs. All right?
We don't know what that's for.
What?
No
No one need ever know. I got it in France on holiday down a market.
Keep saying that. What do you put in it? What have you used it for?
Why do you
when
need
you
to
go
know about
running?
my private
That's the sort of thing
business?
people wear when they go running. They put their keys in. Is that what it
That's
is?
it, just my keys. Just
Oh,
running. I'm just
God.
running along with some keys.
I think that should be sent off to a lab.
No, I just use it for my bits and bobs. Now, come on, give us me clothes. Give Nanny her clothes. You've had a bit of fun now, but do give Nanny back her stuff. That's Nanny's medicine. Now, that's Nanny's channel. Put it back on Nanny's channel.
Okay, focus.
Now I'm wearing your socks. I'm just in pants.
Get my socks off.
Get my socks off. Get my
I keep
socks off,
forgetting I'm wearing
Russell.
your
I want my
flip-flops.
normal identity
Rubbing my toes on these
reinstated.
flip-flops.
Get my socks off. Get my socks off, Russell.
Okay.
I want my normal identity
People are listening
back.
to this, probably.
Sorry about that. If you're listening
They've
to this,
come home early.
I can only apologise to you. Come on, get round
I
here.
don't want to get naked in this room.
We just were naked in this room.
Again.
Get round here. He comes. Look. Do you want my socks off, do you, darling?
My socks.
I've got used to them.
Oh, you don't wear them well.
Well, no, I never bothered to.
Little Snoopy noses on the end. You can't even pull them on right.
I didn't want to pull old Lefty up. I felt.
Oh, look.
Come on, let's go back to our normal lives now, Matt.
Please.
We've done
I've
enough.
had a glimpse behind the looking glass.
What did you think of it behind the looking glass? Nice, isn't it?
Oh, it's nice wearing sunglasses.
See? That's right. It's not bad to be old Russ. Get me old Nick Cage Ganesh back on. Get me Christian Cross back on. Oh, yeah, now we're talking. This is what it's like to be a human. This is what it's like to be a man.
It's a good experiment.
While it lasted.
Next week, our wives.
I thought you'd never ask. No. We mustn't swap relatives, must we?
No.
That's not how the world works. We can't do that, Matt, can we? No, certainly not. All right, give us a bit.
Gauntlet.
Look at you with your judo trousers on. They don't look right on you.
Where do you buy things
You look like you work in a kitchen. I got them off of India. Give us some here. Give us me flippity flops, which is what I call my.
I like those.
Thank you.
The trousers.
Everything's right. Go on, put your clothes back on. I bet you're 100% more charismatic, aren't they? Now, when you put them on, Do you feel better?
Well, this one's got BO on it.
Yeah. Do you know what? When I was in Glastonbury, which I was, I bought one of those deodorants, what's like a crystal stick, and it's lasted for ages, and that is probably why. You're always claiming credit. Look at him going past all barefoot like a man shuffling home after a date that went terribly wrong. I told you about it with his shoes in his hands, like someone who's been expelled. Off you go. Oh, there it was. I'm back to normal. A man, that's the stuff. Nipples out, looking absolutely fantastic. What better way to summarise these events than using poetry in the mouth and mind of a man who uses the form so well? It's Mr. G, Poet Laureate of the show, with a summary of what we call entertainment. You can call it what you like.
Okay, this poem's called Wardrobe Malfunctions. You can't solve a Rubik's Cube by only favouring one side, where one viewpoint looks complete and the other five seem denied. The shades that we discover as we peruse through the aisles, hoping to uncover the truth in what we buy. Our costumes are our armour, our defence, our guise, because our naked aura can't go on together with our suspicious minds. Should we don our enemy's skin to exchange the chaos within, but our tongues still hold all our secrets while our mouths are numbed by such sin? Hopefully the problems we attempt to solve will offer some truth to our resolve. 2 hours of debunking all solutions, but with a desire to evolve.
Russell Brand.
Radio X.